Mr. Gilbert Arenas. How you doing, sir?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
Hey, man, I appreciate you coming on the show, the Rematch, basketballnews.com, Fly TV. There's a lot I want to get into with you about. There's a lot we got to talk about. But it's always a good conversation with us. And I always say this, that, ever since we played together with the Wizards, people have always, asked me about you. And I would tell them, we would have different conversations. I was into the, political conversations and activism and things like that back before it was cool. It wasn't cool back then, right?
Yeah.
And people would always say, they would ask me, well, you have these conversations in the locker room? Doesn't that divide the locker room? How could people have different opinions? I'm like, y'all don't know locker rooms. That's all we do is argue about stuff.
Yeah, that's all we do is argue.
That's it. And so I would tell them, I was like, well, we have, discussions about everything that everybody else has discussions about. And they're like, so you talk politics in the locker room? And I'm like, yeah. They're like, with who? I was like, with everybody. They're like, well, just name somebody. And I'm always like, well, Gilbert Arenas. They're like, get out of here. Gilbert don't have no, And I'm like, y'all don't know Gilbert. Y'all know Hibachi. And that's all you know. Or No Chill Gil. Or that's all you know. But I was like, y'all got to understand, those are more characters. The real Gilbert Arenas is a regular person that has thoughts and opinions and talks about it. People don't understand that. Are people starting to know more about you now, or are they still kind of stuck in the Hibachi or No Chill Gil as being that's all that you are about?
I think people know more now because of just podcasting. You get to really just talk and be free. I don't think people really understand sports world. Sports world is reporters, TNT, ESPN, The Jump. Well, those are just outside avenues, just reporting on your basketball talent or your football talent. So you don't actually know anyone in the sports world. You don't know how many kids Kevin Durant has. What does Kevin Durant do in his off time? What is his hobby? You don't know anything about that. You just know the basketball part of his life.
Right.
Because one, people don't understand this. They ask the same questions all the time. So you're going to get the same answers all the time. So you don't really get to know the actual person. You just know the athlete that's in that sport.
But now, like you said, with social media, number one, and with podcasts, people are able to really see another side of athletes. And I love it, to be honest with you, because, the media gets it wrong so much. And that's why I created this show, The Rematch, to be able to have athletes have the opportunity to represent themselves. And, there's different things that people think about athletes and that's furthest from the truth, or they never had the opportunity to clarify it. But now they do.
But it's not even that they get it wrong. They don't care.
That's true.
When you go and you talk, you look at it like a Skip and, you got a Skip and Shannon. One's supposed to be on the wrong side of the fence, right? One's for LeBron, one's against LeBron. No matter how one sounds, that's his role.
Yeah.
So, so it's one of those, you're just going back and forth for debate, because now people, when Skip says something about LeBron, they get to talk trash. If you're wrong, that's what they think drives the audience.
Yeah, and it's different because then you have somebody who is constantly demeaning a player, and that was Kwame's thing. With Stephen A. Smith, he's like, "You're just gonna demean me for 20 plus years," and so then it becomes like a shtick. It becomes like a and that's where. I don't know when it transferred to that, because before it wasn't like that. They would just report. You would have actual shows on ESPN and they would talk. You'd have actual reporters. They would do different things.
Ahmad Rashad.
Right. Yes. But then it changed. Then it changed to everybody yelling at each other and downing athletes and stuff like that. And that's the part that I don't like that part.
Because I think it got the traction.
Right. It got attention.
Debating became the it thing, right? So in a debate, you both can't like the same thing. So when they're doing their topics, like, you like LeBron? Like, yeah. Do you like LeBron? I kind of. Okay, so you don't like LeBron now.
Right.
You do not like LeBron no matter what. You're against it. And then they just go and that person follows that mode. But the problem is the audience actually thinks it's real.
That's the problem. And they believe it. And so then you have an audience believing the stuff that Stephen A. Smith says. And it's so much of it is just made up. Because you know, he says anonymous sources, but ain't nobody told you nothing of that. Right. But listen, all right. So there's a lot before we get into Ben Simmons and Kyrie and, you know, COVID-19 mandates and everything like that. I want to ask you something that a large majority of my followers would like to hear you address. And, you know, because, you know, your followers are a different group than my followers.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Mine's a goofy group.
Yeah. I mean, there'll be some overlapping, but it's different demographics. And one of the main things that my followers would like you to address, it's not the gun thing. You know what I mean? It's not the, what do you think it is?
Probably child support.
No, that's child support. They still want you to address La Lupita comments. And it's amazing. And it's amazing because so I have heard you address these before. So we were at USC, right? And we was in you know, this is before COVID, and it was in front of a, you know, entire auditorium. It was Dr. Harry Edwards and Marcellus Wiley. You know, it was a great debate. I so much great feedback from that discussion. And it was interesting because a lot of people said that, hey, I never knew that Gilbert Arenas was that intelligent or had all those. I was like, what do you mean? You know, but aside from that, so I heard you address it and you brought it up, but nobody, you know, it wasn't like it was a question that was asked. You wanted to speak on it and address it. So I've heard you address it before, but just for the people that didn't hear it, could you address those Lupita comments, please?
So I have to rewind probably like a few days later, right? A few days earlier. I'm with a group of Hollywood actresses, right? Okay. You know, and we're just talking about Hollywood, how Hollywood is like replacing Black women with outside dark women, right? So they're saying they're going out because they're cheaper. So they're going to get the Africans, the Englands, you know, the Nigerians, and you know, because they can act, all they have to do is just learn English to portray Black America. Okay. So right, so you know, you're just like listening to the stories, and you're listening to like, you know, we're being replaced. They say we're entitled. They say we're entitled to this. Where, you know, they're cheaper. You know, they can control them more because we have the American Black woman attitude. So we're losing our spots. And they said, and once it hits TV and hits movie screens, the audience, Black America, don't know. All they're looking at this at the skin. So they think, oh, Black people are. When in reality, no, they're England. She's Mexican. She's a Mexican African. Like, so she said, there's this big divide in Hollywood right now. So, you know, I'm listening, and then you start watching movies, and then you like Idris, you start looking at some of the actors that they're talking about, just replacing everybody. So I'm asleep. I'm just waking up. You know how like you just wake up and you just start scrolling, right? You just start scrolling, and then I land on, I think it was sort of Milani, like. It was like a Milani page. Okay. So it has an African symbol. And I read what I thought I read was, if you're mixed, you're not beautiful. Right? Okay. That's what I thought I read. If you're mixed, you're not beautiful. So I'm thinking, well, damn, I got my kids are mixed and they're dark, and you say they're not beautiful because they're not just pure Black. Right, but it said you don't have to be mixed to be beautiful. Oh, that's what it actually said. You don't have to be. I got you. Okay. So my brain read it. So what I did is I went online. I said, oh, that's how they playing over here on the ground. So I go online and I actually typed in dark African beauties, right? And then it was like, all right, Lupita, looked at her. I was like, she's average. Oh my God. So I write her name down, and then there was another girl, top 2. Oh my God, no way. So I write their names down, right?
Okay.
So then here I go. And that's why if you read it, it says, who is your black beauties? That's what I said. Who is your black beauties? And then I named Lupita and what's her name? And then I said, she got nothing on. And then I named Gabrielle Union, Serena Williams, Kelly Rowland, Kerry Washington. And I said, she got nothing on that. So I'm thinking it's African versus Americans.
Okay,
So,
I got
so then I was like, I'll have, which is like a contradiction, but I said, I'll have sex with her with the lights off. Ew.
No, Gilbert.
What I'm saying is, as a man, I'm saying I still will have sex with her. She still looked decent enough to have sex with her. But that was the thing. I was defending the Black American product.
Okay, I got what you're saying.
So what happens is, so when I send it, and then I'm, reading, I'm like, yeah, black women gonna be proud of me. And then I just see all these people attacking. I'm like, well, no, I'm defending. I'm saying, look, I'm defending that. I'm thinking I'm going against Africa. I'm thinking this is a little battle right here. So the African site is the one who posted it, but they cut out all the things. They cut out all the things and just left that quote. And me, I'm like, well, I'm already in the shit. Might as well just double down and just double down. And then a 17-year-old girl is in my DM. So I'm just battling a DM, right? I'm just battling DM. And it's, girl, you think I'm ugly? No, I actually don't. Here's my number. Like, I'm trying to holler at the pretty one. Like, this worked. And then a 17-year-old girl's like, I didn't come here to argue. I just want to ask you some questions. All right. And then all she kept saying is why, right? And she was like, why do you think she's not cute? And I was like, maybe her face. I don't know what makes a person pretty or ugly, right? Because it's like this is weird. Like, her face. I don't know. And then she was like, I said, so do you think Kodak Black is cute? She was like, no. And I was like, kind of like the same. But she said, but you say you would have sex with her. Yeah, I mean, because she's not ugly enough not to have sex with. So she just kept going. And then she was like, so why did you need to use her if you didn't know who she was as an example? Don't you think you could have made that argument without using her as an example? Yeah, you're right. Damn, you're right. Yeah, you're right. So I'm sitting here like going, like we probably spent 2 hours we probably spent 2 hours just going and she just asking me questions and we're just talking. And I realized, forget that I disrespected a African or a Black woman. I disrespected a woman, period. Right. When I didn't have to, someone I didn't even know.
Right.
So now I have to apologize. And this is why I tell people accepting an apology is sometimes pointless, because to accept an apology, the person they have to understand what they did wrong. Right. They have to fix what they did wrong, and then they apologize. And that takes steps. So I apologized 3 years later. Okay. Because first I had to change my behavior. I couldn't be the same person trying to apologize. So I couldn't have apologized right after I did it. I have the same mindset still, right? So I have to change my behavior first, right? Understand what I did wrong. And then, send out my apology. That's the only way it becomes genuine.
Has your daughters ever asked you about your statement?
No.
Okay. Because kids know everything. So I'll tell you this. I told my daughter, because they always ask who am I interviewing next and stuff like that. I told my daughter Imani that I was interviewing Gilbert Arenas, and she said, "Oh, isn't that the one who doesn't like Black women?" That's what she said.
Yes.
And I was like, first of all, where did you hear that? And where did that come from? He's like, no, that's what people say about him. Well, people like who? Around the DMV.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow. So that's why I wanted to ask you that first. And so if you could look,
but that was the thing. It was like I didn't, like, I understood how they got to that point, but how can I not like black women when I just named 5 black women? Like,
right.
Like, you know what I mean? It was like, but you know, once someone picks up something, they don't care about anything else. And you know, at that point, it was too late to really just try to talk about it. So I just like let it go. But what's so funny is the actresses on the other side was like, girls. Like, I'm like, no,
oh, right.
no, no, I just got killed. I just got killed.
So what made you bring it up when we was at the panel at USC?
Because there's black women in there.
Yeah.
And I need to, because you got to remember, we have this thing where if someone says something we don't like,
right,
everything is non and void. We do not want to listen to anything they have to say. It's not like if I like 99 things that come with your mouth and you say one thing I don't, I cancel you.
Right.
Like, so, you know, I wanted to break the rule to acknowledge that, hey, hold on. I said some things out there. You know, I just need to, if there's some tension out there towards me, I want to just release something. I messed up. Right. You know, I thought I was defending when really I was just attacking a woman that had nothing, I didn't know who she was. I just pulled her off the internet, and I got to take responsibility for that.
I mean, because you remember Dr. Harry Edwards, I don't remember exactly what he said, but it was strong. What he said, I was like, hey, Dr. Edwards. But that represented how people feel when your name came up, a certain demographic that only remembers that.
Yes.
And that's why I think it's good that you clarify everything, and that is not how you feel. So one quick statement to all black women. Like, what would your one statement be?
I love black women. Like you gotta listen.
No, but listen. I'm asking because a lot of black women, as soon as they hear your name, boom, that's what they think of. I ain't messing with it. So wait. So serious though. Like, look at the camera.
No, I love black women, but you got to understand, we're in a battle. I'm in a battle. So you try to say anything that, like you and your wife get in an argument, right?
Right.
You just say stuff just to try to get. So I'm thinking I'm winning the battle, but no, I love black women. I'm sorry, that's just wrong comments.
All right, cool. Fair enough. All right, and so one more thing I got to ask you to clear up, and it's whatever you said about the WNBA women. I don't even know exactly what you did say, but I know a lot of women in the WNBA are not happy with you either. So what did you say?
They're still unhappy. Okay.
First of all, what did you say?
I have no idea everything I said, but it was more the video. It was 2 girls in thongs playing.
Okay.
Right? It was two girls in thongs playing. And I was like, well, if they were this in the WNBA, get me some seats, right? Just being funny. You gotta remember, this is the poke GA. Yeah. So it wasn't really about that. It was really more about, like, I didn't, like sometimes when I have a point, I try to like get everybody's attention, and then I come up with the point. But sometimes with the internet, it takes such a hard turn. It's like, I'll let it go. But it was one of those things as marketing. I don't think the WNBA is marketed right.
Okay.
Like I've talked to some behind the scenes. You can see I just posted 2 of them going back and forth, and I'm telling them, this is what you guys need. You guys need some type of beef. You need that TNT spotlight game, because what ends up happening is you guys are so quiet. You guys are because you guys are quiet, no one pays attention. Just like any hooper, we want to be recognized for our hoop. Same thing with the NBA players. We want to be recognized for our skill. But to get to certain things, we have to do certain things, right? Okay. So I was like, well, unfortunately, we have a dress code. We had to tighten up our uniforms. You guys got to tighten up the uniforms, okay? Like, I'm sorry. You can't have 3X pants. Like, we did in the early 2000s. You can't have baggy shirts and stuff. Like, you guys are athletes. You guys have beautiful bodies. You have to show something because you still need the male audience. And she was like, well, I don't like men. It has nothing to do with what you like.
Right.
It's what is attractive to you, right? Like, I remember when I was in DC, I wasn't attracted to gay men, but I had to attract the gay men, right? That's part of a fan base. So it was like women, gays, men are last. Okay, tuck my shirt in into take my shirt out so they can see the abs. Like, it's part of the brand. Okay. And I said, and I was like, I don't think you guys are branded well. I said, I don't think you guys are branded well. You guys need self-branding. And I said, even from the WNBA to the high school level, you guys got to understand the difference. You guys are grown women. By the time you get into the WNBA, you're 22 years old. You're a grown woman. You're not 18, 19 like the NBA, where a LaMelo fans can track with them. You guys are grown women. So when you come on you get drafted and you got your nice little suit on and you're like, okay, she looks cute. Those girls are like, ew, what is that? Why is she wearing that? What is she trying to be, a man? Like, that's their first experience looking at the WNBA. Like, what is she wearing? Because you got to remember, at that age, right, lip gloss and skirts trying to attract, the young high school boy. So, you got this big old divide, and the reason you guys are not getting paid is because you're not attracting the right audience.
Yeah, I think your breakdown wasn't quite as thorough when you said that the first time.
No. There was no breakdown. There was no breakdown. It was just all entertainment comedy. That's
But it's like sometimes when I see something like that or that, I'm like, did he want people to hate him? Do he want people to be upset because it's so? And then I hear the people who just think of you in those terms. Now, what you just said and broke down, you actually saw some of the WNBA implementing those exact things this past season. Mm-hmm. You saw the cut and the uniform was different. Yes. You saw the different, the way the marketing, different people, whether it's Skylar Diggins or T. Cooper or, Liz Cambridge. And, she had the drama, like everything that you were saying was actually implemented. But the presentation wasn't the way.
What's so funny? When I throw it out there, right? When I throw it out there, everybody's like, oh my God, no, this is. Then there's always that one person that's sitting there is like, let me go ahead and see if we can, because he still might be on to something. No matter what's coming out the mouth, he still might be on to something, right? And then they try it. They try it. So, they try a little bit of it to see if it does change. Just like when Shaq was like, we need to lower the rims. Yeah. No.
They was like, no.
The audience, as I said, the audience, they're thinking about the male audience, right? Uh-huh. We're not the biggest thing they're losing. They're losing the young girls. They're using from 12 to whenever. Mm-hmm. That's the generation they're losing. Because like I had to do a breakdown. So, I'm around my daughter, Shaquille's daughter, Zebo's daughter, all daughters all play together. So I started doing little field tests, with all the girls out there. Hey, why do you have that number on? Okay. You got 70 girls, not one named the WNBA girl.
Oh, interesting.
Not one named the WNBA girl, why they have their jersey. Then you ask the WNBA girl, why do you have your jersey? Because of an NBA player, not because of a WNBA player. So you start following this pattern, and you're like, man, what is going on in this generation? What is happening? And just like the collective bargaining agreement, the older players in the league are handicapping the entry of the young girls. That's gonna move the needle. Like the Kwame Browns coming into the league, the younger you're 18, you have more life than someone who's 26, 27. So they're not allowing these girls to come in and change the game. So you're missing all that excitement. So by time so let's see, what's her name? What's the number one girl? UConn.
I just saw her too.
She would have been the number one pick this year.
Yeah, I know you're talking about though.
Okay, so she doesn't get to enter till 3 more years.
Right.
By the time my daughter gets into, like, by the time my daughter gets to college, this girl will be entering the draft.
Right.
Or Paige Buckner.
Paige Buckner. Right.
Well, because my daughter's in college, she's not a fan anymore. She's more of a rival. So she's not going to buy no Paige Buckner, nothing. So all Paige Buckner fans, all these 11th graders, 10th graders, 9th graders, 8th graders, they can't buy any of her gear if the gear drop. That's her fan base. So because they can't buy that gear, they become rivals. When she enters the draft, my 10-year-old, who don't even know basketball women yet, is going to watch that draft. And first thing she's going to say is, who is that?
Oh, I see. But with the marketing, especially with NIL deals, I think you're going to see different marketing. Well, we'll see. It's got with women's college ball, it'll be a smaller crop of women who are marketed. That's what it's going to be. It's going to be, a few key people from different universities. But the way they choose to market them will have an impact on their notoriety. Would you agree?
A little bit, but it's still, but you're still marketing a grown woman. Like, you got to remember, from like Zion right now, right? Zion is 21.
Okay.
If you look at his fan base, that fan base 20, 19, 18, 17, 16. Anybody who remember his high school, like that's, like imagine you coming out of high school with that fan base into the NBA. Those are the ones that's buying those tickets and shoes and jerseys and stuff. Like, that's why you don't see WNBA jerseys just walking around. Because by the time.
But I will say, though, is that, like, say this past year, I have noticed a better job with the marketing of the WNBA.
Yeah, they market better, but at the end of the day, the group that they're missing that bumps up their pay, like me going to the store to buy a jersey. My daughter don't know, these girls don't know, they can't name 10 WNBA girls. And the two names they always say, oh, the Bird and that Taurasi girl.
No, that's not true. They know more than that.
No, the Bird, Taurasi, right? And then they name Cooper.
They know Candace. They know Candace Parker.
Now they do.
They know T. Cooper.
T. Cooper.
Right. They know Liz Cambridge. Yes, they know Liz Cambridge. She had the drama. She was fighting even from the
but it's one of those things where they be like, oh yeah.
Oh, but you're saying it's just not on the level. But I think it's getting there, though. I think they took a big step this past year. And Mark, we can agree with that, right?
Yes.
They took a big. So they just have to continue along those lines.
They need to if they open up high school, if they open up and allowing the girls to come out of high school, you got to remember that girl that leaves that's the Kobe Bryant, right?
Oh, I got you.
That's the fan base. You got to remember, how does Kobe come in the league, right, as 18, and then gets voted into the All-Star? No adults voted for him. It's all high school.
It's all hype. And now with social media, they have a chance to generate even more hype than what we had back in the day. So I definitely agree. All right, I want to ask you about this Ben Simmons situation. Now, there's a lot. It's interesting. I wrote an open letter to Ben Simmons for basketballnews.com. And a lot of the feedback from people was that I was being too nice to Ben Simmons. And although I pointed out all of his missteps through this whole process, I pointed them out, but I didn't go just on full attack bashing him. And that's what a lot of people wanted. They wanted to have other people bash him. He's terrible. He's weak. He's soft. And I didn't do any of that. I did the opposite of encouraging him, that I hope that, you know, when you come out of this, that you come out with a Mamba mentality and don't let nothing affect you and everything like that. But these were your missteps here all along this way. But it's interesting that so many people don't understand or can't sympathize or even imagine how he feels.
Because they're looking at the basketball player, Ben Simmons. So I don't think people separate the basketball player from the human, right? And you know, once a Shaq or a Charles Barkley say it, it becomes law.
Yeah.
In reality, they were the same person. Right? They were the same. If they want to call him prima donna, you were the same prima donna when you were the man. You know, so it's crazy because he's a quiet kid. He's not this rough rah type of guy. He's a quiet kid who just wants to just play, and then if you don't want him, just trade me. You know, if you want me, just, you know, he just goes with the flow.
Right.
You know, I was with him, you know, a lot this summer, so I see the work ethic, and I see the work ethic, and I'm like, man, you can actually shoot. Like, you actually can shoot. You actually have form. You actually, you don't have this wicked form that's release high. Like, you actually have a great form. Your feet planted. You know, it's like, all right, what's going on here?
Let me ask you this. Let's slow walk through this, because I want you to address a lot of different things and putting into terms where people can understand. But I also want to get your opinion on this. So let's say hypothetically, if while we were with the Wizards, right, if after a game where you particularly didn't shoot the ball well, you know, I mean, we probably wouldn't be saying realistically that you didn't shoot the ball, because we got to put it in realistic terms. You just didn't shoot the ball well. And let's say after the game. So let's say after the game where you missed the free throws, and it was in the playoffs when LeBron came and said what he said to you, right? Yeah. So say you missed the free throws, we lose the game, we end up losing the series, right? And let's just say, just for an example, to say that say Caron Butler, right? Say afterwards, during the press conference, that he said, while in front of the media, right? We just lost the game, we're out of the playoffs, and he says, it all came down to us making free throws, and we didn't make the free throws that we needed to win the game. And if we did, then we would have won the series, right? Yeah. If he said that, right, what would your response have been that summer? Would you have won? You know what I mean? Like, what? How? Because and this is why I'm asking you, because people don't understand the fact of what's supposed to happen and what they're reacting to Ben Simmons and thinking that everything should just bounce off him and he should not care. Like, but that's not reality. That not reality. How would you have reacted if that happened?
Oh, first of all, either he goes or I go.
Right.
He already knows.
Right.
Yeah, we're not even gonna play these games. If that's how he feels, either you're gonna trade him or you're gonna trade me. Right. We already know how this works. Trade him or trade me. Because if we both come back that next year, I guarantee you he will not get the ball from me. Ever. Ever. Right. It's gonna be to the point where he's gonna want to fight me after games because I'm just not giving him the ball. So that's where we're gonna be this going into that summer. Either you're gonna move him or you're gonna move me. Right. You know, and that's just how it's done. Because there's one rule. There's one rule. No matter how frustrated you get during the game, don't throw your teammates under the bus. Sports is you make enough plays to put yourself in position to win games. That's really the thing, that you put yourself in position, you make enough plays to just get yourself a chance to win. During that process, people mess up. People make mistakes. Somebody does something they don't supposed to do. Right. And a game is lost. So a good veteran, right? A good veteran, good coaches, They know that that's what the game is. So when Michael Ruffin, we have the game won, and Michael Ruffin grabbed the ball and threw it in the air, we didn't say anything. That's not the reason we lost the game.
Right.
We still had to play defense.
Right.
And then we went to overtime. We lost in overtime. But we're not gonna sit here and blame him because he threw the ball, they caught it, and then we're not gonna do that. You know what I mean?
It's just something. It's something you don't do as teammates. And so Embiid doing that, and it's interesting because people seem to gloss over that when they're talking about this situation, and they gloss over. So let me So going back to you, right? That same scenario, right? So imagine that after that game, Coach Jordan was at the press conference and asked, well, can we get over the hump? Can we finally beat Cleveland with Gilbert Arenas as the point guard? And his response, his answer was, I don't know the answer to that question. I can't answer that. I have no idea. What would your response have been seeing that?
It's the same thing. Why would I want to play for a guy who doesn't feel confident in me? Like, obviously, this guy doesn't have my back. Like, it's like you're in a sense of you're throwing the blame on me because I had bad games. Sometimes shit just don't work right. But the problem with the Ben Simmons thing is it's not like he shot you out of the game. He didn't feel confident in his shot, so he didn't shoot. That doesn't hurt you. A guy who's, we'll say Westbrook, who's going to go 5 for 30. You're like, yo, hey, stop shooting, bro. You just off. Like, that hurts you more than Ben Simmons not taking shots. Because, there's been some times where, we in the game and we're like, yo, I ain't really feeling it today. I'm going to give it to you on the defensive end.
Right.
He got 8 rebounds, 13 assists, kept Trey to 5 and 23. Kept Ice Trey to 5 and 23. No one talks about that. No one wants to talk about Embiid having 8 turnovers that game and stop passing the ball to his teammates. Nobody talked about Doc Rivers' lineups. Like, your lineups was bad sometimes. We didn't talk about Seth Curry, his man going for 27, and they had the double. A guy who was a non-factor in that series. So everyone has their faults, so there's no point of just pointing and making a bad guy. And that's what they did. You made him the bad guy. Like, oh, he didn't shoot. He didn't want to shoot. That's why we lost. We need to get rid of him. That becomes the problem. And then we all fuck up.
And then when you put it on one person, when Ben Simmons, when Joel Embiid said that about Ben Simmons, when Doc Rivers said that, then all summer the chatter through all of Philly was it was Ben Simmons' fault. And so for people not to understand as a player why you would want to come back to that situation after your coach and the star player did that to you.
As a human, if you have to work and your boss and the floor manager of your section basically says you are horrible. We don't need you in this place, right? And then I don't care what you do this summer. We're gonna make sure you're not here. And then a day before, like, hey, it's us again. Come on back.
Yeah. Come on back.
I don't want to. No, but you got to remember, the normal human can just quit their job and go get another one.
Right. That's not how it works.
Contract is it's the entitlement. That's what this is. This is the entitlement part of it. You didn't want the player. You said you really didn't want it. You've been trying to trade him. You didn't get back the pieces that you wanted for him. So you're like, come on back. What we said, we were just playing. We were just playing. Come on back.
Did you see when right before training camp, Doc Rivers went on ESPN and said, "Oh, I love Ben Simmons." I'm like, well, it's too late now. You should have said that a long time ago.
That was the thing, that instead of just owning what you said to the player, you got to remember it's a player. Like, we can forget easy. Right. We can forget easy. You just come out to him. Hey, listen, I fucked up. My bad. I was frustrated.
Right.
You know, we just lost. I was frustrated. You wasn't shooting. Was, you know, you missed. You know, okay, I understand that, because you got to remember, I'm feeling the same way. I'm passing up shots because I don't have it right now. But I'm still going to try to, you know, get, you know, so I know you didn't shoot, but look, you did a hell of a job, you know, getting players involved. You did a hell of a job on defense. You know, you got to praise him for what he actually did, so that player can understand you notice. So now your comments are meaningless now. Right. Joel Embiid, hey, you know, hey, my bad. He started taking us off. My bad. I was a little out of shape. You know, I'm going to get in shape this summer. You know, so, you know, we both can do this together. As a player, you're like, okay, the head coach and the star player, okay, we good. I don't care about the fans booing at that point. My game, my new game, they will embrace, because I done trained all summer. But the fact that the two main players did not come to his back. Right. They're like, nah, it's your fault, bro. That's what hurt. That's what hurts more.
You know, it's interesting. I interviewed Eric Snow before this for my podcast, The Rematch, and he was explaining how when Coach Larry Brown started publicly criticizing AI, that was one of the main factors of the demise of the entire team. And people don't understand the significance of what your coach says about you. And I don't understand why they don't understand that. I don't get it. Like, how could you not understand that?
Because you make too much money, right? You make too much money and you have a job to do. Like, if you even listen to Doc Rivers, I just want him to come and do his job. Yeah. No human being would. Yeah. No human being would. They just wouldn't. Like, if you criticize someone for their talent and you belittle them in front of the world.
In front of the world, yes.
In front of the world, they're not coming back. Oh, hey guys, how you doing? Right. Hey, how you doing?
Not
and
at all.
I had this, like, you know, it was like a middleman conversation, right? Okay. Right. And you know, from Hooper to Hoopers, I'm like, no, I wouldn't come back. Right. Right. Because at this point, it's like, why? What is the benefit? What is the real benefit? And I'm saying, as the organization, Philly, what do you think is going to happen when he comes? Have you guys actually went down those roads? Yeah. What do you think is going to happen when he comes? One, not going to talk to his teammates. No. He's going to shy away from his teammates. He's not going to be the same personality he was. Mm-hmm. Two, him and Joel Embiid, that relationship's over. Mm-hmm. So if he's the point guard, pretty sure he's not going to give him the ball. He's going to give it to someone else for someone else to give it to him. So now you got that bullshit during the game. Right. Then you got Doc Rivers. That's just an annoying voice that he's not going to be paying attention to. So you got a player who's really disengaged during this game. That's not going to be successful.
Do you think that first of all, do you think that Doc Rivers and Joel Embiid apologized to him privately at any point? Do you think, because I haven't heard anything about that?
Probably privately.
Yeah, I haven't heard it. But see, I think
embarrassed me publicly.
I think they should have made the comments publicly, but I don't know if they even apologized to him privately throughout the whole summer.
They tried to meet with him. They've tried to meet with him, but you got to understand.
But no. But not trying to meet with him. So you didn't. So sorry. So you said this. The season ended, right? All this time have passed where you've been trying to trade me, and you've left it as we lost because of him. I don't know if he could be the point guard. So all of this happened, and you say nothing. And then when you can't trade me, then you want to come and meet with me? Is that how it happened?
Yes, basically, yes.
Come on now. How would you have reacted to that?
That's what I said, man. I'm doing the same thing. It was so funny. When I was having a conversation with him, like, you know, like, he's still upbeat. That's he's working out 3 times a day, 2 hours a day.
This is during the summer.
Yeah, during the summer. Even during the training camp, he's busting his ass. And all he's waiting for is, like, I'm just waiting for them to train me so I can just start my new chapter. Right? You know, I don't know what I don't know what to do. I really don't. I don't. I don't know what to do. And I'm sitting here thinking like, no, he can't go back.
Right.
You see the joy on this man's face, like with this basketball in these drills, working out, and that is prison to him.
Right.
You're trying to make. You got to remember. People always talk about it. Why do I have to work in a hostile environment?
Mm-hmm.
That is technically a hostile environment for him. Mm-hmm. He is not comfortable anymore. You're looking at people who really don't want you there.
Right.
Like, oh, hey, I need you to come in here and, hit some buckets for me so I can get a raise. That's all. That's basically all that can happen, because his stock, that like people say, yeah, he needs to come show people that he can make shots and do this. His stock is his stock.
Yeah.
His stock is his stock. There's no scenario where this worked out well. Let's say he goes out there, averages 28 and 8, right?
Okay. All right.
Well, they were number 1 in the East last year. Okay?
Right. Right.
You got to remember.
People forget that.
14, 8, and 8. He was the number 1. Okay.
Right.
So if he averages 20. 8 and 8, you're number 1.
Right.
Okay, you're number 1 again. Let's say you go to the Eastern Conference Championship, or maybe the championship. You're going to trade him in the summer for pieces that can get you to the Eastern Conference Finals or the championship?
Yeah.
The one piece just did. So now you're like, what do you do? You're not going to trade him for pieces that can help you get to where you just got. Right. So you're in this, you're sitting here in this Ferris wheel, just going around for no reason.
It's interesting that I just posted about Julius Randle. He was interviewed by Shaq and Kenny and the NBA on TNT crew. A great interview too. He was holding his son. It was great. I don't know if you saw it, but I was saying, like, much respect to him, because he was taking responsibility and accountability, and he said, I have to get better and things of that nature. And I was like, yeah, much respect to him for doing that. However, and this is what I put and what I posted, I said, however, I also noticed that none of his teammates nor his coach threw him under the bus last year after their playoff loss. Mm-hmm. And people have to understand that does make a difference. They were all supportive of him. I mean, he said, I ran out of gas. He was criticizing himself when he was talking to Shaq and Kenny and them. And it was so much so afterwards that Barkley was like, I have a lot of respect for that. Barkley don't say that about me. Yeah. I got a lot of respect to that. He took responsibility. But people have to understand, it's easy to do that if you have that support network that's supposed to be this family structure, which is the your teammates and your coach and your organization, and that's not what they did with Ben Simmons.
So that's like saying Julius Randle went at not even Derrick Rose, whoever the second best player is, right? So you heard him say his flaws, right?
Right.
But after the game, instead of him saying, I messed up on my side, he decides I'm going to point at this guy so people don't look at me.
Right.
And that's exactly what it is. Because Joel Embiid, he was a little out of shape.
Yeah.
You gassed out. Like, you have your flaws.
Yeah. He could have listed. He could have listed his own flaws.
Yeah. You could have, people don't understand. A sports team is a family.
Right.
We know each other's secrets. We know each other's flaws. We know each other's everything. Like, if my girl's cheating on me, somebody on the team knows. They talking me through this process. Right? So this is the type of information. So when you go out and tell someone my flaws,
yeah,
under the bus. You're supposed to be protected. Like, your job, our job is to protect each other's flaws.
That's right.
Like, that's what it is. You're protecting my flaws, and you just gave it to this reporter for a soundbite. Oh no, dog, I'm off you, dog. Like,
of course. So talk about when he came back and he got kicked out of practice. And I even referenced this in my article because you and Kendrick Perkins both said this looks like it was kind of a setup here. So explain to me what you meant.
Okay, so the reason he came back, obviously, you got a $6.77 million bonus check, right? So you're trying to, grab that. But when you're looking at both sides, he missed all of training camp. Season's about to start. There was a report of he has a water bottle. And I'm looking like, he has his phone. I'm looking like, that looks like a whole round, whatever. It's round. That's not a cell phone. That's whatever that is round. So that means you guys are giving out misinformation to make him look bad. All right. He's not. Already, he's not playing game one. There's no way. Right? So now they have to figure out how to suspend him so they didn't have to pay him. Very, very next day, Ben Simmons is kicked out of practice, suspended for game one, detrimental to the team. Right? Okay. Detrimental to the team. What does that mean? I know what that means, right? That means that this guy was out there arguing with teammates, being, disruptive, coming in late, kicking the ball. Like, he's being disruptive. And you got like, yo, you're messing up these drills. Get out of here. That's what disruptive means. A guy who's sitting in the back, minding his business, can't be disruptive. Unless you're picking on him. Unless you're like, you know what he did yesterday, I'm not allowing that shit today. So what you go into practice already premeditated. You're gonna pick on him until he bucks so you can suspend him.
Right.
So you go into practice waiting for the same behavior as yesterday. All right, where's he at? Ben, get into this drill. All right. Ben, come and do this. To the point where it's like, yo, dog, why you keep like, yo, leave me alone. I'm not bothering nobody. And then the first time he says, no. All right, yeah, get out. That's all that was. Right. That's all that was. And then I really hated that interview after. When he was when Doc Rivers was like, so what did Ben do? I'm not gonna say it, but I'm gonna leave it to you guys to figure that out.
Yeah.
Hey, you want to leave it up to them guys? Like the whole process of him going back was just contradicting to everything you're trying to do.
Right. Like
it's just a big contradiction, and that's my one pet peeve with just sports. Period. Right. You have. If I don't want this player anymore, right? They have this notion of we're gonna bash him, right? He's a bad locker room guy, bad work habits, doesn't work out. And then, okay, yeah, so Etan, I would like Dwayne Wade. Let's make this trade. You're gonna be looking at me like, what? What? You just said he don't work hard, he's this, he's that. I'm not giving you Dwayne Wade.
Right.
For this, get out of here, right? Yeah. They have this notion of bashing the person they're trying to get rid of, but they still want top dollar.
That's crazy to me. Did you see when the deal that he asked Portland for 6 draft picks? I was like, 6 draft picks? Who the devil you think is going to do that? So then I started thinking, is he really trying to trade Ben Simmons in good faith? And that's where I was like, I don't think he really is, because there's no way that any GM on earth would think that they would get that many draft picks for one player unless his name is, you know what I mean? So do you think they were really trying to trade him, or do you think they were? What was going on?
The problem is, and this is what they don't want to say. They won't take accountability and just say, listen, y'all, we don't want to trade him. We actually fucked up, okay? We fucked up, and I don't give a shit what kind of pieces you like. We don't want to get rid of him unless it's someone of his caliber. Right. So you're still talking about in his caliber, he's still a Bugatti. You're still talking about a guy who averages 14, 8, and 8,
right?
2 threes, can't make free throws on 10 attempts.
Yeah.
So if he took 20 attempts, he's in the 26 to 30 without threes and without being a good free throw shooter.
Yeah.
So you still have this big upside.
I mean,
right?
and he's one of the top perimeter defenders in the league.
And then he can play the 1, the 3, the 4, the 5, and on defense he can go 1 through 5.
Right.
So when reality kicks in, when reality kicks in, it's like, yeah, the offers we're getting back just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So all right, we need to go ahead and just make this thing work. What do we got to do, right? What do we have to do to make it right? But you're doing exactly the opposite of what you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to find him, suspend him, pick on him. You're doing the opposite. If I know this is my best salesman, my second best salesman, I'm gonna baby him, make him feel comfortable again. I gotta make him feel comfortable again. So I'm not gonna be sitting there and nitpick. You gotta remember, if we're in a team and there's 15 of us, and I keep saying, Etan, come on out here and do this drill. Hey, Etan, come do this drill. Eventually, you're gonna say, yo, why you keep calling my goddamn name in front of all these teammates, bro?
But this is what, and I have a little bit of a different take on it. I don't necessarily think they need to baby him, but they just need to be able to instill in him that they have confidence in him. I think if they would have done that from the beginning, we wouldn't even be in this predicament. So even he could have had the worst game that he has possibly had in his life. If the organization from the beginning said that is our, if Doc Rivers said that is my guy, he is an all caliber point guard here. Like he might have had a bad game, but we did not lose because of him. If he said that, and then Joel Embiid had his back, that's when you say, no, that's my brother. And I'm not, don't wait till, the first game of the season, all this stuff happened, and then call him your brother. Call him your brother after he's at his lowest point, when he's at where all the media wants you to attack him. And I think if they would have done that, then we wouldn't have been here. So instilling confidence in him, that you have confidence in him, that you support him, that you'll be here, then a player will run through walls for you. Then literally run through walls. But why is it that organizations feel that they have to find you into acting right? Why do they think that works?
Because they think that the money controls you.
Right.
They think the money controls. I remember Ted. Remember Ted? Remember we had Ted for that stint?
Ted. Last name.
Like what's his name? After Eddie Jordan left, we had, who was the coach after Eddie Jordan left?
Oh, I know you're talking about. Ernie's guy.
Yeah.
Short, kind of pudgy, kind of light skin. I know what is his name. I know him. All right, but anyway, I know you're talking about.
It wasn't Ted? That wasn't his name?
I don't think it was Ted, but go ahead. I know you're talking about.
So he fined.
Oh, Tapscott. Ed Tapscott.
Ed Tapscott. So he sends, I'm going to fine you for being late. You finding who? You ain't finding me. I don't give a shit what letter you sent or how much you sent. They not finding me. We done already had a discussion. Your fine doesn't change the behavior. All it does is pisses me off. Okay? So we're going to stop this shit right now. There's nothing. There's finding me for being like, I've been early my whole fucking career, bro. Yeah. And you're saying I'm late 5 minutes. Once you're going to find me, just get no. Right. You're just wasting. Because now I'm going to start looking at you. So the fine doesn't change the behavior because it's a fine. So what they think they're going to do, remember, like not coming to practice, being late, those are little fines. Right. So they got to figure out how to take game checks. So they need his behavior so they can take a full game check. A full game check, $400. Him is $402,000. Right. So they're thinking the more game checks he misses, the more he's gonna want to get on his court and start playing, which is the wrong. Yeah,
that's not the way to do it at all.
that's like me having a restaurant, right? And I just bash my cook, right? I kill him. Oh, you're horrible. You this, you that, and this, and then put him back in the kitchen. Right. Put him back in the kitchen, and he brings me some soup. Right. I'm not eating that soup. I'm sorry. I am not eating anything that man gives me because I embarrassed him in front of the kitchen staff, in front of everyone in that restaurant.
Right.
I do not trust what that product is gonna happen.
Yeah.
So for me to start trusting, before Ben comes on there, I have to be in good faith. I have to, me first. Like this is at this point, this is the product. I need the product to be happy so he can perform, right? So I got him A's, Ben. We find you that 400. I'm sorry, that was bad of us. Here's your money back. All the little fines. We took $1.3 million for you. I'm giving it back. Just come to practice. Go into the drills that you feel comfortable with. Get comfortable with your teammates again. You have no time to get back on this court. It's all on you. And you hope that right there, eventually, because even in the video, you can see there's always one guy that no matter what, you still hang out with. So you can see him on the side, like smiling and laughing. I don't know if it was a trainer or an equipment guy, but you can see him just sitting there on the side, just chopping it up and talking. Yeah. So all you do is just little by little, day by day, just let his teammates open him back up. Let his teammates open him back up.
Yeah, and the way that they did it is the complete opposite as far as what they think is gonna produce. They want to punish you and fine you into acting the way that they want you to act or complying. So fine you into compliance.
Doesn't work. That would not work in the real world. That's what I'm saying. But because we're athletes, somehow they actually think it works when it does not work in society. You cannot tell your wife that she doesn't look good in that dress and all of this, and then expect good loving when you get home. That's not what happens.
That's not how it works.
You're gonna be on the couch. Sit your ass on the couch. It might be months. Think about the things that you have to do to get back in her good graces. You can't keep nitpicking at her, thinking that she's gonna turn. No, you have to buy the flowers. Yeah. You have to really.
That's a good example, though. I can't even. Yeah, that's a good example.
They just have to go over beyond. If you want him back on that court, if you don't want him back on the court, you're doing a hell of a job. But one thing that you got to understand, as owners of the other teams, I'm a businessman. If you tell me he's a Honda, right? You got to remember, if you're telling the world he sucks, don't expect anything other than suck players back.
Of course.
So if you're telling me he's a Honda, I'm gonna give you Honda pieces.
That's just bad business.
That's bad business
on their part.
I'm gonna give you a Bugatti because I know he's a Bugatti.
Right.
I'm not gonna give you a Dame Lillard. No.
Right.
Ooh, no way.
Yeah.
He sucks. So if he sucks, I'm gonna go with that. All right. I like the price point you're giving me that car for, and that's where everyone's at. There's how many teams will take him? All the teams will take him.
Everybody will take him. They just
smart enough to know. I'm gonna give you just. You might make the deal for that. You don't like him. You don't want to be there. Yeah, take these. Let's see if that trade works. And that's why trades are so lopsided.
Yeah.
Because they bash the player before they get rid of him.
And that's just bad. I don't even understand that thought pattern to think that would be the best, option for you to do. So let me ask you this. So, let's talk about when he said he came back and addressed the team and said that he wasn't mentally ready to play. And, I know what you're thinking, but I felt that, honestly, and this was my opinion of this, I felt that was him being honest with them and saying that not that he had mental health issues. He said mentally, I'm not ready to come back and mess with y'all. And I thought that was a very smart move on his part because, a lot of reasons. Because he could have came back and you don't know what he would have done. If he would have came back and I'm really still beefing with you, I'm still thinking in my mind that you threw me under the bus, over here, after the game, and I'm looking at you, I might just crack you across your head with this chair. You don't know what that can bring out of bed. So he's telling you, listen, I'm telling y'all right now, I'm not mentally ready to come back here with y'all. You know what I mean? And now everybody else jumped to, he's using mental health issues because I was like, but he didn't say mental health. He said he's not mentally ready to come back. And the part that I do have to say, and I saw this because, I'm critical of the media a lot. And I did see where Shaq was on a few nights ago, and he said he had to backtrack some of the criticism that he had and educate himself on mental health issues, even though that's not what Ben Simmons said. But he said I had to backtrack, and I am not going to, bash him or anybody else that are dealing with different things and getting their mental health issues, correct on the same line. And that's what Shaq says. He says, so I'm backing all the way off. I got to respect that. You know what I mean? Because it means that he's going back and saying, okay, I was wrong for what I said earlier. I wish Stephen A. Smith would do that, because when he got on, I might remember right after it happened, and it was reported that Ben Simmons said that he couldn't, come back because he wasn't mentally ready to come back. Stephen A. Smith went right on, and he went on this big rant, like he always does. But he went on this big rant and said, why didn't he say anything about mental health before? Why didn't he say this before? Why all now? And so he's questioning publicly on the biggest platform in the basketball world the validity of what Ben Simmons was saying. So that in turn made a lot of people then start repeating what Stephen A. Smith said. And it was literally, they were like quoting him. Yeah. And I think that's where the media has a responsibility to not attempt to sway the public against players. And that, again, going back to what Kwame Brown's point was, and his issue was with not just Stephen A. Smith, but the media in general, is when they do that. So what was your take on when he said he was mentally not ready to play?
Okay, so you got to understand where the ESPNs and all these guys stand.
Okay.
That's their job, to sway the public. You got to remember, they don't need the athlete. They don't need us to report about us.
No, that's true.
Right? So they don't need us to, like, I can say you're good or I can say you're bad, but I don't need to have a conversation with you to do that. So these guys in the media don't need the athletes. So they don't need to talk to Kyrie and Kevin Durant, but they get to report on them all the time. They probably couldn't even half of these reporters couldn't even get a sit down with these players at this point in their careers. Because you done bash these guys for so long that they don't want nothing to do with you, but you're still going to make your point against them. So when it comes to Ben's comments, you got to, okay, it's really chess. It's more chess than anything. I'll put myself, instead of using Ben, I'll just do me. Right?
Okay. All right.
I came back to get my money, right?
This was after the gun incident.
No. Just I'm gonna be Ben in this situation.
Oh, you're Ben in this situation. Okay.
So I come back, right, for to get my advance. Pretty sure you didn't get it to me, right? You make up an excuse to fine me, right, and say I'm mentally not ready, which means mentally not ready can be whenever you feel that I'm doing what you want me to do before you can unravel that suspension. So basically, they could suspend him indefinitely until we think he's mentally ready. That's what they did with me.
Okay, wait. So I'm going to say is, and that's why I thought you was going with this. So in your situation, the rules were different. Remember, we played a little while ago, so the collective bargaining agreement has changed and shifted, and now the mental health part wasn't in the collective bargaining agreement back when you had your incident, back when we were playing. So now, according to the collective bargaining agreement, they cannot withhold your money if your reasoning for not being present or not playing is due to mental health. That wasn't in the language before.
Yeah, but that's if he uses it, if they use it against him.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So basically, if I'm acting crazy, he's mentally not stable to be on it. He's not fit to play right now. So
that's what they did to you. That's what the Wizards did to you.
That's what they did to me. I never got suspended for gun.
Right.
I got suspended because I was mocking it.
Because he was mocking it.
Said, he's not mentally stable to be on the court.
Well,
so
okay,
we got him on the first game.
Right.
He's mentally not fit. So what that means is they can suspend him as long as they want and use, he's not ready yet. So they get to hold this money. What he decides to do is exactly what you said. Mm-hmm. Oh, they can't suspend him if I'm having mental issues. So before they get to use it again to take more money for no reason, he decides to use, first he started with the back, my back, but you got to eventually back heals. Eventually back heals, you got to come up with another excuse. Then it's always like, well, I'm not really mentally ready to take forth and coming on the court. This is a process. So you use that against them before they use it against you. So now he can get his money because if he didn't use it, they were going to keep using. The way he practiced, he's mentally not fit right now. Okay. And they were going to just keep suspending him. So
it's tough.
It's more of the lines that if he went to court, it's 50-50. You know what I mean? Like,
well, no. But now,
because you're getting booed, we can see that. But I'm not going to let you suspend me for no reason. And you're just going to keep picking on me. That's the one thing. Because you got to remember that if you look at that first day and they suspended him the day before the game, and the reason was I asked him to go into a drill and he said no. And you suspended him? I mean, how many drills that Eddie Jordan told me to do? And I'm like, nah, man, I'm good, bro.
But this is the difference, though. This is the difference. They're using it because and this is what I was talking about in my article, my open letter to him. He had to, and this was a misstep on his part, going into the situation when he was going back and coming to the first practice, he already has to know who has the advantage in this situation. He has to know that they are going to try to pick at you and to get you to act out so that they can suspend you, because that's the way the game is played. He has to know that the coach, who he knows has a grudge against him, who he already publicly said, remember Doc Rivers said, this isn't a happy process just because of this whole Ben Simmons situation. So we're not even, what did he say? Like the going into the new season hasn't had the same shine as, something like that.
Yeah.
So he had already said that. So you knew he was going in there with a grudge. So you have to know that at that point, they got you and they're looking for a reason to suspend you. So if you're going to go back, then you have to participate in everything. If you're going to go back, you got to know that they're going to call you out. Hey, run this extra 17 for no reason. But you know that they're going to do that because they have the advantage, and you doing anything is giving them the ability to then embarrass you in front of everybody or saying conduct detrimental to the team, which says you're the problem.
But human nature says no matter what, the person's going to break first, right? How many 17s can they make you do before you say enough is enough?
That's true.
The famous Popeye Jones quote: "You can run me for as long as you want, but you can't run me as hard as you want." Right? When he was making them do drills and he's just walking his 17s, you can make me sit here all day, but you can't make me go hard. Yeah. But that's what it is. Eventually, no matter what, you're gonna break. You're sitting here just doing pointless things. All right, Ben, stay after 2 hours.
But that's
practice at 6 o'clock.
That's the situation.
But that's what I'm saying. But soon as you just say the no to one time, there you go.
And so I agreed. So in the article, I agreed with you that it did look, and Kendrick Perkins, because it did look like a setup. Mm-hmm. But from Ben Simmons' standpoint, if you gonna go back, you have to know that it's a setup. And if you go down this path, you're going to get kicked out of practice. You're going to get fined. You're going to get suspended.
And that's that's where this I'm not mentally ready came from, because you cannot beat this. The process that the game that they're playing is unbeatable.
I agree.
Because you're literally coming to practice to tap dance.
Yes.
All damn
the whole time. That's the only option you have.
It's like one of those situations where you have to be there 2 hours early, right. Do whatever you want. You're gonna go through all these plays. You're gonna go through everything.
Actually, That's how they was doing Kwame Brown.
Yeah.
Remember when he was coming on to practice, they was running him and they're all doing all this stuff. That's the kind of stuff that Ben Simmons was going to have to do.
And
no, it's not even a question. But
every
Kwame,
single day.
But Kwame never cracked, so they didn't get the chance to use the. If he were, we were looking. I think this might have been before you got there. They were pushing him in order to make him do something. It was obvious. It was obvious that that's what they wanted to do, but he never did. So, but because he understood, if I do anything, you know what I mean? Like anything. And I mean, we talk about
but the difference between that is Kwame has the players with him. So he has you like, hey,
no. You heard Kwame talk about it, and that's how me and him got cool. Because he was like, well, you the only one that came to me. It was like, hey, but most people, because it was MJ. It's literally MJ. This is MJ. You know what I'm saying? That's why I was tripping when people would be like, well, why didn't all of the team just take up for Kwame? I'm like, this is MJ. It's his team. You don't understand how it works. He's the owner, but also he's playing. And it's his team. But going back to Big Simmons, that's what they wanted to do. So I don't want to say that he's using mental, not being mentally able to play. Wait. For the purpose of gaining an advantage. I honestly believe that he is not mentally ready to come back yet. However, that aside, it was the right move to make because now it gave you the advantage, whether it was done intentionally or not. I want to go on the side of not saying that it was done intentionally just to gain the advantage. However, the fact that you did do it, and I'm gonna say that he really is mentally not ready to play. Now you have the advantage. So now, and that's when I commented on your post when you was like, and you was right. They're trying to figure out a different way to find him. Well, now that he's played, he has this. The mental. They have no way. Now he's protected.
Yeah, he's protected.
And that's the only reason why they said we're not going to find you. It wasn't because you came back and talked to us, and now we understand, and now we can kumbaya, and now we're going to move forward. No, that's not what it was. It was because you legally cannot find him because of the wording in the collective bargaining that says if the reason is due to mental anything, then you cannot, your money cannot be withheld.
Yeah, and it's hard to really challenge it because the atmosphere itself proves whatever he's going to say.
Of course.
If I'm mentally not ready, look, I cannot be mentally ready to deal with the bullshit that's about to come.
Right.
You know what I mean? I can mentally not be ready to be comfortable around these two people.
Right.
Here. I can mentally not be ready to play in front of the Philly crowd, which is Philly crowd. You guys are the last people that he's actually thinking about being angry at. He's been there this long, booing and cheering. That's part of the game.
Yeah, but Philly's a little special with their boos. It's a little bit more. It's a little bit extra.
You're still not. That's not really a concern of really. It's the people that I have to sit with every single day. Eat with, talk with.
That's true, but the atmosphere and the Philly fans booing everything like that could contribute. That could be a contributing factor as to why he's not mentally ready to deal with all of that. If you're arguing that point legally,
let me know if you're
going to put that in there with it.
It plays,
of course,
it plays well. It plays well all together.
Of course. Now let me ask you this. Let me go back to something you said because you said the Wizards. And I'm sure a lot of people heard this, but then we just kind of skipped past it. The Wizards did not suspend you after the gun incident.
No, I did not get suspended for guns in the locker room.
You got suspended when it was before the game and you was doing like this and what they perceived as you embarrassed the organization. Break that down because that happened to me as well. But break that down as to how important that is to an organization when they feel that a player has embarrassed them.
So it wasn't. You got to remember at this time you got it's global now, right? But in charges that involve guns, one So Telfair got 3 games for having a gun on the bus.
Okay.
That's NBA property. He got 3 games for having a loaded gun on an airplane, NBA property, right? Steven Jackson shot his gun outside of a club, right? In the middle of a fight. That's 7 games. Well, unloaded guns in the locker room. The most that they could have gave me was 1 game. And the reason was I said I brung them. I didn't even say I brung them. I said those were my guns. Mm-hmm. No one ever seen me touch them. No one ever seen me bring them in. No fingerprints on them. I just acknowledged that those were mine. Right. So what are you suspending me for? Mm-hmm. But they made it so big that saying, oh, he's suspended for 1 game would have been like, wait, what? So you got to remember, I have to go through the legal process anyway before you can suspend me. Mm-hmm. So that means I'm going to finish that season. But because I was not backing down from the media and I was mocking the situation, I wasn't taking the situation seriously. Mm-hmm. There's like, okay, mentally, he's not stable enough to be on this court. So we're going to suspend him for the rest of the season. Mm. So that's where they use detrimental to the team. So this is detrimental to the team environment. So that's how they removed me out of the equation. Mm. So basically, if I was going to be suspended for guns, it would have been the next season.
Okay, got you.
Because after the season, I went through the process. I just got a halfway house because at the end of the day, I didn't touch anything. I didn't do anything. I just acknowledged those were mine. So by the time the legal process finished, I'm like, why is he not in jail? Because the only thing I did was say they were mine. I never said I broke them, never said I touched them, never did any of that. No fingerprint, there's none of that. I just said those were mine. So when the legal process was over with, it was like, yeah, so what are you going to suspend me for? Because I needed to get suspended for them to get off my contract. That was really the real big issue was once Stern penalized me, the Wizards couldn't penalize me. So you can't get penalized twice for the same thing.
Okay. Double jeopardy.
Yeah, you couldn't. They couldn't. So the league couldn't suspend me, and then the Wizards come back and suspend me. So it was one of those things where, like, the person who got the raw end of the deal was probably Javaris.
Yeah.
Because you got to remember, I'm getting suspended for detrimental because of my actions. Mm-hmm. He didn't do anything. He didn't have any actions.
Right.
So he could have finished the season, and then after everything over, get a 1 or 2 game suspension next season. But because it was so big, once they suspended him for 50 games, they just added him with me.
But the only reason why they suspended the 50 games was not because of the actual gun incident or bring the guns into the locker room, which is what happened. Because people still to this day still tell stories that I heard this story just the other day where they were like, you and Javaris was like back to back, and you took a couple paces. Then I was like, wait a minute, where the devil did you hear that? That's not
But that's how it was portrayed. So you got to remember. Well, if you're watching TV at 9:00 and something is shown at 9:00, that's what you have. If your wife sees something at 12:00, that's the image she has. So when you guys have a conversation, you're both right, but you're both wrong to each other. So once the information that's how it was. That's the perception of it. So
but the Wizards was still supporting you until they felt that you were making a mockery of it, and that it's to me. Now you tell me if I'm wrong, but Ernie Grunfeld let you do whatever you want to do. Let's be honest. All right, you do whatever you want to do, right? But that's your guy, right? But in that part, after that, because you remember they even find some guys that was in the circle
that was laughing.
I was like, wait, they have nothing to do with it. They're like, no, they shouldn't have been laughing, and it was all because of the visual image of you, and they felt that embarrassed. So what I'm making the equating to is that the 76ers felt that Ben Simmons
embarrassed
them. So now they have to figure out something to bring the hammer down to show that they're not going to be embarrassed.
Yeah, they have to show that they're in control of this situation. You know, like
and that's what teams do.
Yes, I was really bitter. Like, no. That's the reason, like, I really kind of retired a little, early. I was kind of bitter. I was hurt. Like, man, I've done 99 things, right, one thing wrong, and you guys turned on me like I was nothing. Fans, like, you know what I mean? Like, I remember seeing like this article where like they had a percentage of if I'm going to like mess up my what's it called, probation. Like probation. So like it was like if I messed it, I had 2-year probation. If I got in trouble, I was going to have to do 3 years in jail. Right? That was hovering over my head. It was like 80-something% said that I'm going to mess up. I'm like, this is not this is real world. This is real world. Right. The little antics I do inside the arena has nothing to do with this real life. My real life, I don't go nowhere. I don't drink. I don't go out in public. Like, I don't do this. So, like, but just the fact that it said 80-something% irritated me. Yeah. Right? It irritated me to the point where I just didn't want to be around people. Like, when I retired, I didn't watch basketball for a long time. Like, I really didn't like just everything about the sport. And then I had to sit back. And put myself inside Ernie's shoes, because what happened is they were doing an article about Ernie Grunfeld. Okay. I guess he just got fired, and they were doing an article on it. Mm-hmm. So they wanted to talk to me about it. Okay. And I so I said, give me a week just to think. Just give me a week before I do the article. Mm-hmm. So I had to sit back and then like put myself in Ernie's shoes. And realize my actions forced them to do the things they had to do. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's not like they just went out of the blue and said, oh, no, Gil, we're going to take you. The actions that I did put them against the wall, and they had to think about the business. They had to think about the rest of the players. They had to think about moving forward. So once I understood that, when I did that interview, I couldn't bash nothing about Ernie. And I told the lady, from my standpoint, looking at all the moves Ernie's ever done, I can't say that he made too many mistakes. When I messed up, he got rid of my contract. He got Karan's contract out of there. He got Antoine's contract out of there, left money on the table for Ted Leonis. He did everything that he was supposed to do with the cards he was dealt. Okay. I can't say anything bad. I can't say anything bad. If you'd asked me like 3 years ago, woo!
Right. You'd have some venom, huh?
You'd have some venom, baby.
It's interesting because I kind of have a similar story, and I don't even know if you know all of this. So, the last time me and Brendan got into it, right? And we've talked since then. I went on his show, The Opinionated 7-Footers, so we squashed everything. But the last time we got into it, and I'll tell you the story since we tell the stories here. Yeah. But no, it's like, so I was coming down, right? And you weren't at a practice. You was like boycotting practice or something you was doing. I don't know why you was upstairs, but you wasn't in the practice, right? So we were having a play, right? And he shot me an elbow. Okay. And I've been playing against Brendan for the longest. I know how he plays. Hey, we know each other's moves, everything like that. We know when, like, sometimes I clip him. I'm like, "Oh man, you good?" Sometimes he clip me. Dang, you all right? We know each other, right? Yeah. And I also know when he is not happy about something, he kind of acts out. I've seen him before. You know what I mean? Like I saw him, and I don't know. Was you here when him and Leitner almost got into it? Was you there? I don't know if you was there then. That might have been before you got there. But Leitner had just won the starting position, and they was in practice, and Brendan kind of tried to do a little something to him, and Leitner took the ball and threw it at him, and they were this close. Now, I was the one who got in between them and broke it up. But literally, it was the same kind of thing of he was upset and kind of acting out, right? So even before that, before he was there with MJ, MJ had a situation. He tried to set a hard pick on MJ, and MJ said, "I'll knock your head." Like MJ got pissed, and threw the ball at him, and everybody was like looking. You know what I mean? But me and Brendan was cool. I actually hit him afterwards, like, "Are you all right, man? That was kind of a messed up position for you to be in." But so after this time, he threw me, shot me the elbow. I'm going back, towards it. Everybody's running back down the court. I'm going back, right? And he kind of meets me, and I mush him, right? And so he swung, and Brendan's arms is long, so he kind of clipped me, right? So I backed up, and I pivoted and looked at him, and I you know what I'm saying? I was angry. So I was about to charge him, and Coach Jordan jumped up in front of us like this, right? Like he was like this way, jumped in front of me. It was like, "Hey, you can't do this." You know what I mean? I'm not gonna let you do it. And they kicked me out of practice, right? So, but check this out. So Ernie Grunfeld talks to me, says, "Listen, I'm not really worried about all this. Okay, go home, cool off, and come back, and we'll go back to practice the next day." I was like, "All right, cool, fine, all right." And then I was taking a little long time. I was in there talking with you, and he was like, "Hey, now I told you to leave." I was like, "All right, Ernie." Remember that? I was like, "All right, Ernie, I'm leaving day." Right. So later that night, I don't know if it was that night or the next day or whatever, a reporter came to me. Right. He said, "Hey, I heard what happened with you and Brendan, and I know that you weren't happy about the way that it was reported the last time y'all got into it. Because remember they said he like slammed me. Brendan ain't picking nobody up and slamming nobody. And then they left out the main part where he, we were squared up after I hit him and he grabbed my lock so I wouldn't hit him again. They left all that part out. But I was like, so I was like, okay, well, yeah, no. So let me tell my story so you get it straight. That was he got me then. So I told the story. Okay. Later on, I get a call from Abe Poland. When I tell you Abe Poland was pissed, like Abe Poland was pissed. Right, because we usually hear Abe Poland, kind of quiet, something like that. But Abe Poland was pissed, and he was like, "You should have never said anything to the media." Like he had like a in his voice. He was like, "You embarrassed the organization, and you embarrassed me." I was like, wow, he's taking this real personal. You know what I mean? But he was serious. He's like, "So I'm suspending you for 2 days, 2 games for conduct detrimental to the team. And don't you ever embarrass me again." And he slammed the phone on like you could, like it was like you could hear it. It was like bam, bam, bam. I was like, dang. So I knew at that point it wasn't about us getting into it. It wasn't about us getting into it, and that was the 3rd time we got into it. Because before that, Brendan had, told Ernie Grunfeld, and I know it's because they told me that he said, I don't, feel safe. I don't, I'm fearful for my life. You need to suspend this guy. And then Billy Hunter, I was in the union. So he said his agent called him and said, "Hey, my client doesn't feel safe. Can you help get, him suspended so he can feel?" He's like, "Well, no, I'm not gonna. He hasn't done anything before. It's like his first offense." So, but they didn't care about any of that. It was just because I embarrassed the organization. And I had nothing, so they suspended me, didn't suspend him. They said conduct detrimental to the team. And that was it. There was nothing I could say, nothing I could do, nothing I could appeal. I just had to take it. And it was just, I was suspended. But I tell that story because like your situation and my situation and Ben Simmons' situation, once an organization feels that a player embarrassed him, they are going to try to embarrass that player and re-put the hammer down. Yeah. And it's seeing that happen right now with Ben Simmons and play out, I'm like, well, y'all got to kind of look at the whole big picture and see what's happening. You know what I mean? It's like a big setup. So that's the part that's a little bit tough seeing it, looking in.
But what sometimes the organizations don't understand is this, that players talk, right? And this is where organizations do need to really think about their positions sometimes. We all talk to each other. So, we're working out in the summer and I know you played for Philly and I'm gonna be like, "Yo, hey, how did you like it up there?" I'm thinking about one of they, they're like, Nah,
right, right.
Swag, bro. You know, this, that, this. Like, you don't want to be part of the atmosphere.
Yeah.
All right. Cross off the list.
Yeah.
Right?
That's how it works.
Thank you. I don't even care how much money you. Nah, I already got the Kelly blueprint. No, thank you.
That's right.
And there's reasons that players don't go to certain teams because we watch how you treat other players.
Right.
We can see it. We got eyes.
Right.
You gotta remember, at the end of the day, we all have our little things.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So, like, when Charles Barkley go up there and, you know, Shaq and talk about prima donnas, y'all are too soft for these guys. Like,
yeah, I hate that.
First of all, Shaquille, didn't you get a whole trade from Orlando because the guy got more popular than you? That's prima donna. I want to move because he got a penny doll. Like, I seen your commercials back in the day where the penny doll's on the couch and you slap it off and now you guys are bickering. I was a penny fan.
Yeah.
So I know that is bickering. That is babying. So like you know, so the things that, you know, some of the older guys like go at the young guys, I'm like, you did the same. You did the same thing.
No question.
You did the same thing. So you know how he feels. So since you know how he feels, you should be able to help him through this process because you know what's going to actually happen at the end of this. You know, so it's like one of those things where, from the organization standpoint, like, you have to think about longevity at the end of the day. So how you treat Ben Simmons is how the next stars are looking at you.
Of course.
They're looking at you the same way. Damn, when I miss shots and I don't play well, this is what they're going to do to me too? Oh, no, that's right. I'm good on that, man.
So how do you think this plays out? How do you think this ends?
Trade.
You think he'll play there at all?
No. You don't like if you do play, what are you expecting?
So
like,
how
expectations?
Right.
Whatever he does, he's gonna get benched by Doc.
Yeah.
He go out there and he take 10 threes back to back just to take them. So he don't pass it to Embiid. So if he's just playing his normal game, and it looks like he's not taking shots. Right. So there's no clean slate because remember, I know what you did. I know how you played. If you show me any resemblance of that, he has to go out there and be Westbrook,
right?
Like mentality. That's not him. If Jason Kidd did this, if Jason Kidd played how he played, 2 for 4. 8 rebounds, 13 assists, shut down Trae Young.
Oh yeah. He's gonna be applauded.
That was a great ass game.
Yeah, you're right.
You know, so it's one of those things that's like I heard the guy say, was it Morey? Like talking about, this is a 4-year process. Stop.
Well, that was another chess move. That was another move I thought with Daryl Morey. You're talking about Daryl Morey saying that we have to be patient and it might take 4 or 5 more years before anything happens. That's just him making another this is all a game of chess.
Yeah. Like, I'm willing to fine you for 4 years.
For 4 years, right?
No,
that's not.
One, you're wasting Embiid's 4 years.
Yeah,
that team won't be the same for 4 years. You're not gonna. You gotta remember, you're missing a whole star. You were number 1 last year. You're missing a whole star that is a defensive juggernaut.
Yep.
Right? So you're missing a 9-position player. You can't, that's going to affect you. That's going to affect the record. Like if I'm Doc Rivers, and as soon as he said that, I'm sitting like, wait a minute.
Right.
If we sit here with 1, now we're like at 3rd, 4th, 5th, probably out of the playoffs. I'm getting fired.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. Come on, Ben. Like, what plays you want, Ben? What plays you want, Ben? You want me to take a back seat? All right, San Francisco, you the coach. I'll take a back seat. Whatever you want, brother. I am not giving up that number 1 seed, 2, 3 seed, where you not to be on the court to hurt that record, which actually affects me.
Did you see that? Have you watched them play this year?
Who?
Philly. Did you see them against Brooklyn? And did you see them against the Knicks?
And
they need Ben Simmons.
But see, that's the thing. That's the thing that what I mean hurts the most, right? The same thing that happened in Brooklyn is the same thing that happened in the playoffs. You're up 19 points.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You gas out.
You gas out. Yeah.
That's everybody's fault. So you guys have to take responsibility for all you guys' problems. But nobody wants to ever look bad. Like, you got to say, yo, like when I missed those free throws, I said, I do not know what happened.
Yeah,
I'm gonna make sure the shit don't happen again.
But also, everybody didn't say, "Well, we lost because of Gilbert."
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I already took the responsibility because I know, like, you got to remember, I'm listening.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so I can go up there and say, "Listen, I don't know what happened. I don't know if I was tired. Shit looked good. I felt fine. I do not know what happened, but I know we're not going to lose like that again."
Right.
And after this interview, I'm going to go back in that gym until they feel right again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I went back in the gym, shot 1,000 free throws.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that whole summer, like, yo, I let them down. Man, like forget that. Like, no, if I make those 2 free throws, then we're up 3. Then I let them down. So I'm in the gym 24/7. There's no vacation because I know how I felt. Ben knows how he felt.
Right. People think like Ben doesn't care. Like I've heard that a lot. I was like, why do you think that? Like, what makes you think that he doesn't care? What makes you think that he doesn't care that they lost in the playoffs last year?
Because he doesn't speak. But that's what I'm saying. Like, we know our flaws. We do know our flaws.
Of course.
Like, you don't think, like, a guy who can't shoot free throws, you don't know. You don't think he knows he can't shoot free throws. You don't think he knows every time he goes up there, it's like negative energy in his mind. So what do you think he does in practice all day? Yeah. Shoot free throws. That's all he does in practice. Right. So basically, the worst free throw shooters shoot the most free throws in practice.
That's right.
Because they know I gotta go up there. Like that's all they think about during the game. Oh, okay, all right, I'm about to get Michael Ruffin. I don't want to get fouled. Throw it. I don't want to get fouled.
Yeah, that's true. But did you remember how much he practiced on shooting free throws? Yeah. He shot the ball all the time.
All the time.
In practice. He's early shooting free. I mean, it's people just don't understand. So that's the part.
People don't, like, because people think like, it's this change, it's a change thing. Like, I remember Shaq saying, like, Lonzo Ball is a product of hard work. And I said, and I'm thinking, well, that's unfair. Because it's like, oh, his 3-point percentage looked better. That's unfair. His shot is better. Him shooting is not necessarily better. He can shoot the ball. He was a spot shooter when he came into the league. But since he's a point guard, most of his shooting had to come off the dribble. Right? So it was that step back three. But when he was just already spot up and you pass it to him, he was an actual great 3-point shooter.
Right.
So when someone says like he can shoot, this guy, like, wait a minute, I can tell you Zoe flaws. It's the same flaw that Ben has.
Yeah. Because
Zoe doesn't shoot free throws, but because Zoe can't shoot free throws at a high percentage, he actually is scared to go to the free throw line. Yep. So think about what I'm saying. He averages 0.7 free throws made, 0.7 free throws made for his career. Mm-hmm. You know how hard that is when you're the point guard.
I know.
Think about it. You're going to get 2 to 4 free throws by being the point guard getting fouled at the end of the game because the ball's coming in your hand.
Yeah.
So think about the mindset. You don't even run to the ball. You're not driving in the penalty. You're not even aggressive when you're in penalty. So you have to consciously make a decision to not be aggressive because you don't want to go up there and miss.
Right.
You had 20, but it's all threes. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, like, people have their flaws until they can overcome that. Mm-hmm. It really affects how they play. LeBron don't shoot great free throws. He's been in the league 19 years. So it's part of their game. Like, you just got to give the guy the process to understand because they understand what their flaws are.
Let me ask you this real quick, because I know I kept you longer than I haven't planned to, but let's switch topics a little bit. Do you think that Brooklyn can win a championship without Kyrie?
No.
Okay. And I asked Isaiah Thomas that, the Detroit Pistons one, not the younger one, and he said the same thing. Why don't you think they could win without Kyrie?
One, the league has changed. You know, there's always shift. Players go. They lost a few pieces, but you're talking about a very, very skilled one-on-one expert. Like, players have their expertise at something, right?
Mm-hmm.
His is creating shots when there's no shots. Manu Ginobili, you creating offense when that defense is sealed. So when Kevin Durant is being played well, when James Harden's not getting fouled, the X factor is I can create offense off of nothing. So when you're missing a whole guy, who is an expert in the last 4 minutes, that hurts you in series. Like, so you can see that, you know, when they first started last year with those three, they're scoring 32, 34 points in that first period. Now it's 24, 28, 25. Like, so it's affecting them. So you can't miss a whole star and expect to win a chip.
So where do you see this ending with Kyrie?
Hopefully the rules, you know, sometimes when things go too far, it's hard to back out of it. Okay. Right. You know, it's unfair. Like where he's at it's unfair. Like,
explain.
You have players on other teams that have not actually got vaccinated.
Like Bradley Beal.
Look, I didn't want to put people on the bus.
Oh no! People know. People know.
So you have other players, but because they don't get affected by that. So you have other star players that's on that same stance too. But his stance, the city he's in has a mandate, and he's one of those players like, no, I don't think I want to take this. Well, you're going to miss 41 games. Okay, fine. I just play the road games. Well, now if you're a team, you're like, wait, hold on. Wait a minute. We can't afford for you to miss 41 games and practice. You're missing practice at home because you can't practice either, and games. So that means you're just showing. That messes up. So now they have to pull the leverage. Well, they know he's a hooper. He wants to play. Right. But man, you can't play on the roads. Hoping that idea of missing a whole season makes him sign. But they already bent the rules a little bit. Their practice facility is private, so the private owner can make his own rules. So he actually gets to practice. Yes. Oh, is that what happened? I didn't know that. Yes, the rules is like he can practice because that it's a private sector that's not part of the coding of where the mandate falls. Oh, see, that's that bull there. Yeah. So they're gonna figure out, and you know, I'm just gonna throw it out there. You know, usually I'm kind of right when I just try to fast forward. Look, I'm pretty sure the mandate won't be there by the time the playoffs hit, because summertime is coming and they need everyone free-spirited and moving around so they can get all that money, you know, in the summer. Like, if you ever notice, like, the summer, everyone's free to do whatever they want to do in the summer. It's usually the winter time is when, you know, lockdowns come. I mean, because what happens is the wording is always key. They can't fire you. Right. No one is getting fired for not being vaccinated. Right? Well, you can't come to work unless you're vaccinated. Yeah. So you're basically firing yourself, because if the rule changes and says, well, this is unconstitutional, those are lawsuits that the world can't ever recover from. Because we're talking everyone's suing for millions and millions and millions. So you're basically just handicapping everyone, making it hard for people to move, because most likely, if we're at 58% vaccinated, you're probably trying to get to a certain number, let's say 65 or 60. Once you you bottom out, and there's nothing moving. You have to put in something to try to bump it up 5% more. Once that 5% more is hit, that quota is hit, then they unrelease the mandate. So the mandate will be unreleased. It will, and that's what I'm thinking they're waiting for. Because there's one thing that I know. There's more unvaccinated, fake vaccinated people than they are vaccinated people.
Wait, say it again?
There's more fake vaccinated people in sports than there are actual vaccinated people.
Oh, okay. You mean people faking being vaccinated?
Yeah. Let's just be honest. Let's just be honest. If you went to a nurse in DMV and said, "Hey, I need this card and this, but I do not want that in my body." You know what, Etan, I've been a big fan of yours for a long time. I've been a long time. They're going to take that vial. They're going to write that number down, make it legit. They're going to throw that vial in the trash can.
All right, you might be right.
You know, let's just be honest here. There's like you still have, like, these are not robots, nurses. These nurses, these nurses have, they see what they see, so they have their opinion too. But this is my job, So
well, what do you
think? A lot of people.
No, you might be right. I don't know. You might be right. You know what I mean? You got to throw nobody under the bus, so you might be right. But what do you think about the level of backlash that Kyrie? Oh, and what I was talking about, as far as, let me back up from that first. What I was talking about when I mentioned Bradley Beal is because the Wizards just played Brooklyn, and I thought it was weird that Bradley Beal can play in Brooklyn, but Kyrie can't play when they're both unvaccinated.
Yeah, because it's the rule is if you are an employee in New York,
in the state. Yeah, but what kind of sense does that make? I know it's a rule, but that's isn't a rule that makes sense.
But just like anything, it just doesn't. None of it makes sense. Everyone's just moving as they move. They're trying to be compliant.
Right.
Everyone's just trying to be compliant so they don't lose their license, they don't lose their job. So it's just one big contradiction, but everybody's just trying to do their part to make everyone safe. So, no one's right, no one's wrong. We're just trying. You're just trying to figure it out.
I mean, but the hypocrisy is what bothers me. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Yes.
So like, for instance, the other day, the NYPD, all the police departments, but the NYPD, they blocked traffic on the Brooklyn Bridge. You know what I mean? They had this massive demonstration because they were protesting mandatory vaccinations, right? And these are the same people, because I do a lot of work with the Garner family. So Eric Garner, his daughter, I just wrote Emerald Garner's book for her. It's coming out next year. Fantastic. But I know how hard of a time the NYPD in particular gave them when they were protesting. When they were doing marches on the bridges and when they were doing all. So now that you have something that you feel, now it's okay to and why are they allowed, the NYPD, to still work, right? Because they come into contact with people every single day. A lot of them don't want to wear masks. A large percentage of them said, we're not going to get the vaccine. Not we're working through the process, like Kyrie said. They said, we're not getting the vaccine. Why are they allowed to work, but Kyrie Irving isn't allowed to work? There's a lot of contradictions that bother me, though.
It's really bad. This is what I asked someone. I said, if I'm the owner, right? If I'm the owner, and I say, all right, Kyrie, go play. What the fuck are they gonna do? Is this COVID police department that's going to come in and shut the city down? Is this secret agency of COVID-19, like CDC people that's just going to come and take them off the court? No. What are they going to actually do? And the LAPD, the NYPD is proving it. They're working without the vaccine, and nothing is happening to the police department. Yeah. So they're showing you. Yeah. If Kyrie went out there and played, what y'all gonna do? What y'all really gonna do? You gonna fire me? What are you gonna do? Nothing.
And the thing I would say is
nothing happening.
The thing I would say is if you're gonna fire me, you got to fire them. If whatever you do to me, you got to do to the NYPD.
But that's what I'm saying. They're not. The government is not. The state of New York. They're not doing anything because you got to think about it. If these guys are actually working,
yeah, they're working.
And they're not vaccinated.
No mask.
What is the penalty? What is the penalty?
Right.
I agree
100%. I agree 100%.
So the NBA, listen, put them out there.
Right.
See what happens. What is the penalty?
Yeah.
So far, it has been nothing.
I agree.
Not one drop, not one dollar. What are you going to really do? Shut down the whole police precinct? Crime goes sky high.
Right.
You're at this no-win situation. So it's like one of those things. Like if I'm the owner, like this is my business. This is my business.
Right.
That's my arena. You don't tell me what to do and what not to do.
I agree.
Right? Because there's one thing I do know. I live amongst the whites.
Okay.
Rich ones, right?
Okay.
And hey, how you guys doing? Hey, did you guys end up getting the vaccine? No. Huh. Why not? Don't have to.
That was their answer?
You don't have to. This is what they say. I'm a boss. I own my business. I don't have to be vaccinated for nothing. I just have to make sure my employees are vaccinated.
Wow.
Who's checking to see if I'm vaccinated? No one. Who's going to tell me to get vaccinated? No one. My life does not stop. I do private planes. I work by the airport.
Right.
Restaurants. I have my own chef. So this doesn't affect me at all. And I'm sitting here like,
wow.
Think about that. So I'm sitting here thinking like, what other like CEOs and bosses and all this have got vaccinated, but they're vaccinating everyone else.
Huh.
Like that was the thing that hit me because I'm sitting here like, wait a minute. That is correct. You're correct. If you own the business, you don't really have to.
Well, now you got me thinking. Now, do they have the numbers on? We know that the players are 95% vaccinated. As this from a week ago, they were 95% vaccinated. But what about the rest of it? What about the presidents and the CEOs? And is there any stats on that? Because I haven't really heard. Now that you said that, now you got me thinking.
You're not gonna know. You don't really.
Interesting.
Because the only way to find so I went into a restaurant, right? I didn't have my card with me.
Okay.
So I told someone, can I just get your card, right? Because the restaurant we had to use cards.
Right.
I just grabbed it, gave it to showed the person, and he was like, "Okay, you're good."
That's it. Well, you shouldn't really be saying this though, man.
But I'm sitting here thinking like, you didn't.
Yeah.
What? First of all, you're an employee of this restaurant.
Right.
You don't know a fake one or a real one. You don't have no expertise on nothing. So what is the point of even actually asking people if they are vaccinated and have cards if you don't even look at it? The name says Samantha. I don't look like a Samantha. But I just did it to be funny. I just wanted to see.
Yeah.
Like I have my phone ready to show mine, but I'm just
right. Yeah.
Look, oh my God, this is ridiculous. Like you know what I mean? I do little things like that just to see.
Yeah, I know.
Just and it's just one of those things where you're just trying to just move along as possible and try to get back to normal. And I think that's really what it all is everybody just want to just get back to normal. So we're just going with the flow. Like, so with Kyrie, I know at this point where he's at, it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard, even getting the fake one. And I'm pretty sure, as an owner, if you're the owner and you got championship on your mind, you probably done had nurses or doctors that would have, given him his card.
Yeah.
He's at the point where he can't even accept that card.
Right, because he's dug into his stance. I don't see them trading him though. I don't see them trading him. What do you think?
There's one thing you can't do, and it's you got to remember. It's like you can say trade them all you want. That's cool. But the problem is this. How does that affect KD's stance and Harden's stance? You got to remember, they came together.
Yeah, no.
They talk together. These are friends.
Yeah.
So what ends up happening is, if you ever noticed in the past, if KD's mad, Kyrie's mad.
Right.
KD ain't talking to this reporter, Kyrie ain't talking to that reporter. They're on each other's podcast talking about who they want to talk about. So these are connected. This is a connected two. So if you trade one, how does that affect the other one?
Well, nothing will happen without KD and James Harden's approval. Oh, that's one thing.
And I don't think they're going to give that approval.
Yeah, interesting.
Because from what I hear from the owner, those boys got open wallets. They got open wallet policies around, so they can go and charge on the team. So, I think it's just a circumstance that nobody really wants to be in.
Right.
You to just hope that he got it and we can just move on. And I just think they're in situations where it's like, it's one of those things that then I really don't want to be in this. I don't want to suspend you. Trust me, I don't want to suspend you for a game. I don't want to do nothing. I just want us to just fucking play and ball. So that's why I said, if I'm the owner, I want to see. You're going to, I get what you said, New York, but I am a billionaire. So I want to put this shit to the test. Kyrie, go out
there. I think as long as he doesn't.
Let me ask you this question. Who the hell? Who is looking at the cards anyway? A Brooklyn Nets employee? Yeah. Come on! What are we talking about? Think of each time. What are we talking about here? Yeah. This is not something that the rest of the public actually gets to look at. It's me working at the door, talking about. Let me see your card. Come on in. But
with Kyrie, it's different because it's the principle of it, and he's dug in the principle that he's not going to take it. So in order for him to play, it has to be, I think, that he is okay playing without taking the vaccine.
Yeah, it's one of those things where that's why I said he went too far, because before we got here, my thing is who's actually checking to see if these
Right.
Me?
But now he's dug in, though.
Me? I'm checking. I'm checking. Man, what's going on? We 100% vaccinated.
Right.
Like Bradley Beal. Why am I reporting that my player is not vaccinated?
No. But that's the thing. They didn't report. The players did. So
the
players, when they was talking to the media, they let it slip out. I don't think the teams was going to say anything. I don't think they was going to say nothing about who was. It was all with the players. So
that's what I said. It's like with sports, you guys like it's your building, it's your employees. Yeah. You make your own rules in a sense. If LeBron, put it like this, if LeBron came into this season saying he wasn't vaccinated, trust me.
Yeah.
He was gonna be in every game.
Oh, you think so?
He was gonna pretend that whatever he said didn't happen. I don't know what LeBron said. We got this card right here.
Right. You funny. All right, last question. This is the last question I'm gonna ask you. Appreciate you sitting here talking with me. Feel like we're back in the locker room, just chopping it up. You know what I mean? So I gotta ask you. I want you to tell this whole story about when you dropped 60 on Kobe. It's a great story, you know what I mean? And his reaction afterwards, and when he, saw you with I think it was your daughter, he said, "This is the dude that drops it." Tell the whole story about you dropping 60 on Kobe.
My career was basically leading up to that. So for my rookie season, for me to learn how to be a pro, which is very important to just sports in themselves. Players don't know how to be pros until they're watching someone be a pro.
Okay.
Right? Mm-hmm. So we don't know what's acceptable, what's not. We're still wide open. We're trying to figure out what's what, right? So, my norm, what I seen as a rookie was practice at 11, come in at 10:45, right? If you're a rookie, you got to come in early or lift and do some little cardio. But for the most part, they're coming at 10:45, running on the court. As soon as practice over with, they take 10 free throws, some jumpers, and then they're out of there, right? Mm-hmm. That's what I see. So, trying to figure out like, okay, this is it. You get into that mode, okay. And then, you know, Mark Jackson pulls me aside and say, no, that's not, do not pay attention to these people. Do not pay attention.
That's what Mark Jackson told you?
Yeah.
At Golden State?
So Mark Jackson, we have practice at 11, right? He's waking me up at 6 o'clock. Right? That's what started me at that 6 o'clock. He's waking me up at knocking on the door, wake up, boy. We come to practice. We working, doing our stuff, lifting, and you know, and I'm sitting here. You gotta remember, he ain't playing yet, so I don't even know what his skill level looks like.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I'm like, this feels right. This feels right. You know what I mean? This feels right. This feels like what a pro. Because he told me, he said, look, I played 25 games. The last 25 made 25 million. So do not focus on what's just prepared. So when they call your name, okay. And then I remember we was landing in LA, and he was like, yo, Kobe works out before a game, like at 3 o'clock, 3:30. Like 3 before the game? He said, yeah, before the game. So I was like, all right. So I took a cab, went to the game. Sure enough, around 3:45, Kobe walks in. They tried to kick me out because they thought I was just, you know, news. And I was like, no, I played for the Golden State Warriors. And then it was like, what's your name? I was like, Gilbert Arenas. He's like, oh, yeah. Oh, he's fine. So I'm just watching like how he like went before games, like hard, 300, 400 makes. I mean, intensity, full sweat going. And I'm like, okay, that's how you prepare before the game, right? You come here early. That's why I started taking cabs to the game and not the first bus, right? So watching what he does, watching his rhythm, watching this, I always had success against him, right? Oh, he doesn't move very well left or right. So, you know, but I know I can't do the same thing twice because he adapts really well. So, you know, if I'm going to beat him, I have to beat him with, you know, like from 13, it has to be 13 different moves. You know what I mean? Like I can't do the same move again because he's done already processed everything I've done that did. Right. So I remember I'm at the gym early. Never fail. I'm at the gym early, just watching, seeing what he's working on. Right. And I remember I know someone has a recording of the beginning of the part of that game, like not the beginning of the game, but like that, like the shoot around part. Okay. Right? I was like, man, that man's nice, boy. He works, boy. I think I'm gonna bust his ass today, though. Like I think I'm feeling that Jones today, right? So Luke Walton comes to me and he says, "Oh, Kobe said he's gonna shut you down." I said, "Then you tell Kobe it's gonna be 1 full flat the whole game. Then that's the type of game we're gonna have. 1 full flat, right?" So that's like actually how the game is starting. Okay. That's how the game is starting off. So once I caught rhythm, I'm like, okay, everything is clicking. Everything is clicking. And you know, when you're on fire, the ball finds you. Like I watched the game and I'm like, man, they're like curling ball. Like I shot it, miss it. I get the rebound. Like, you know, like everything is clicking. Right. So when I end up, you know, we go to overtime, end up having 60. I remember, I don't know if you remember this. We're in the locker room, right? And Eddie Jordan, and I come like, man, I just had 60. Like, I just had 16. And then he was like, and we won. Like, fuck all that, man. We had 60. like it was one of, I remember that. Happy. Like, yo, I had 60. Like, yo, against Kobe. Yeah. Like right there, that confidence. Like, you're talking about the best player on the planet. Yeah. And I just had 60. There's nothing you can tell me now. Right. There's nothing you can tell me now that I'm on cloud 1,000 right now. But I'm on 1,000. Right. He came up with the quote like, yeah, he didn't have no conscience out there. Yeah. You know, he was just throwing up shots. That's my new nickname. No conscience. Like, you're not gonna take me off this. I'm not gonna feel offended by any comment he's saying. Right. So that's like, you know, it was one of those things where, you know, as a kid growing up a Laker fan, you know what I mean? And then going and, you know, doing that in that building. It was like, that was like kind of like everything, you know, for me at that moment. And that boosted up the confidence moving forward. Because you got to remember, couple nights later, 54 against Steve Nash. You know, and then we come home, 51 against Darren Williams. Right? So, you know, so that level of moving into another level of the game, the confidence. It was the confidence of, if I did that against Kobe,
did against anybody.
Anybody. Y'all can't stop me. Like, who are you?
Right.
you're Rajah Bell. You're the Matrix. You're not Kobe.
Right.
You're still on the first team or the second team. But that's Kobe on the first team.
Right.
Like, you know, so that confidence just moved me up into the next category. But I tell people that is not the game that really just said, "Nah, I'm here now."
Okay.
The game that said, "I'm here now," was when the Lakers came to DC, right?
Okay.
So he is coming, right? He's coming. He's already said that that ain't gonna happen again. I'm gonna shut him down. You know, this is how this game's gonna be, right? And the fact that he said he's gonna stop me. I don't care what that score is. Right now, this is a personal battle. I know you remember how that game started. It was basically 1-on-1.
Everybody else was just there. We were just going back, and then you go. Did he go?
And that's what it was. It's. I couldn't back down, no matter what, because I have to show. I know you're coming. No matter what I do, no matter what, 10 for 28, no matter what, I'm showing you that I'm gonna still fight.
Right.
I'm still gonna fight. So to what I have 39 still,
something like that.
Yeah. So it was like one of those games where it was a bad percentage.
Yeah.
But when he leaves, he knows I still didn't contain him.
Right.
I still didn't contain him. So that like there is tests. No matter how the test is, like if you come to me and you say something to me, and then I stand up like, hold on, I'm still a man too.
Right.
Like,
right.
All right. I was just testing you. We do that as athletes. So you know, we're retired. We do all of this, right? It was his last. I don't know if it was his last season. No, this is last season. And I took my two boys to the game.
Okay.
And you know, my youngest one was a Kobe fan. He's a Kobe fan. Like the older one, you know, he was LeBron. You know, the youngest one, Kobe. So we go to the back. You know, Kobe's, oh, what's up? Hey, how you doing? We'll meet the kids. These your boys? Okay. Take a picture with us. And then the camera crew was like, oh my God, glad you're here. We're doing a tribute for Kobe for when his last season, last game. We can show it. And I actually made the reel. We went to the game, you know, had to book all the kids. So when AAU started, you know, both players retired. I seen him the first time, you know, he was in the middle of coaching, because it was like, yo, Kobe's here. Kobe and Matt Barnes. Kobe's here? It's like, yeah, he's coaching. Coaching? What age group? Girls. Oh, his daughter plays. So I went over there, crowd, you know, we did that, and then you know, that was it. And then, you know, like a year later, we're at the Mamba Academy. So now it went from Sports Academy to Mamba Academy. You know, my daughter's playing, so they're now battling against each other. So Zach Randolph's daughter just moved into the area on the team. So when he sees me, so I go over and give him, you know, like he's sitting down, you know, do the little shoulder rub behind. He looks, oh, Gil, what's up? Hey, GGB, this is the I don't think he said motherfucker. Is he motherfucker or the fucker? This is the fucker that dropped 60 on me. I was like, nice to meet you.
That's what he said.
He's like, you scored 60 on him? Yeah, I got him. yeah. She was like, she started laughing, and then he was like, I seen your daughter. You know, she goes hard. She's very skilled. Come on, get her down. Get her down, put her on the team. I mean, y'all in Orange County. Like I said, and y'all practice 5 days a week.
Right.
I said, after school, it's hard to get her down there. And it was like, well, McKinley gets down there. And I was serious? And I was like, because I didn't really talk to Zach yet.
Okay.
Yeah, she lives in the valley. And then I was like, okay, I'll talk to her, and see what she wants, see what she wants to do. And then that's when he was like, man, what are you doing besides being a knucklehead on Instagram? And I was like, that's it. Yeah, just being a knucklehead on Instagram. He said, what should you use your basketball mind to give back to the kids, coach, instead of just sitting here just being an Instagram, an idiot. And I was like, and I don't want to deal with these parents, bro. These parents think all their kids are superstars, man. And I don't want to be. He said, hey, forget them. You think I pay attention to them? No, I do not pay attention to them. I'm me. I do not pay attention to what those parents are saying. I just think that. So try to get yourself into culture, man. It's relaxing. It's a challenge. It's a challenge. Getting someone better. Taking 12 individuals and making them one. Mm-hmm. He said that is a challenge. That's a challenge that some of us need. We've been challenged our whole lives, and then we retire. There's no challenge.
Right.
So that was the talk, and I remember almost a year goes by, right? And I don't know. It was just the weirdest thing, man. It was just the weirdest thing that happened. My kids' team, my son he's in Oakland. Mm-hmm. So my son's he's in the Oakland tournament. So they flew in there in the Oakland tournament. And I just wake up in the middle of the night. It was probably about like 5, 6 a.m. My knee is killing me, just randomly, just throbbing. Heard it, just woke me like, man, what is this? What is going on? Is it about to rain? Is it right? I'm just in pain. So I'm just sitting up, just looking through Instagram, watching teams. And I said, you know what? Man, what am I doing? Let me just tell the coach I want to, help around. So I text the coach like at 8. I waited till like 8 in the morning. Mm-hmm. I said, yo, D, I gave it some quick thought just now. I want to coach. I want to help out. So when you guys come back, I want to help around. And he's like, oh, what age group? And I said, probably Elijah's age group. So we're sitting there going over, the teams, right? Going over the teams, like what players that I want to start working with. So I'm like, okay, yeah, good. I was like, all right, man. Well, good luck the rest of the day. Let me know, how the kids do. He's like, all right. So I take a shower, go sit on the couch, right, playing video games, and I get a text on my phone, and then text was a kid named Julius. Like I've known him since when I first got to Oakland. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't playing, so I started playing on the playground. It was one of the high school kids that I was playing with and battling against, and so we stayed friends the whole time. And he was like, Kobe died. Mm. So you look at it and like, Kobe died. Kobe who? Yeah. Kobe Bryant just died in a helicopter crash. Man, stop. Man, hello? No, stop playing like. Don't do that, bro. Don't play games like that, man. It's too early for that shit. It's like, nah, it's all over the news. I said, what? Oh, you're dead ass serious? He's like, yes. So I had to go, right? I mean, I'm looking and then watching the news feed, like, no. So I'm like, I'm off of it. I'm like, no, so they're like, yo, in Calabasas area. Why would Kobe Bryant be in Calabasas? Like that doesn't even make sense. So I'm like, even flying from Orange County, you're not in Calabasas. That doesn't even make sense. Like, where is he going? Like,
Right.
where is he going? Why is he here? So I'm like, I'm not. This is just probably like just false something. And then I'm thinking about it. Oh, the Mamba do have tournaments this weekend. Oh, no. They do have an early game. The Mamba girls have a 9 o'clock game. They do have a 9 o'clock game. So soon as I thought about they had a 9 o'clock game, I'm sitting there like, his daughters is on that playing day.
Oh, wow.
So I remember I wrote it and I said, I think his daughter is on this plane because there's no way he's going to the game without his daughter.
Right.
Maybe both of them. And then I posted it and somebody was like, you don't know that type of information. Please erase this. And I was like, yeah, you're right. 30 minutes later, wow, that report came out and I was like, man, like I couldn't sleep. I couldn't eat. It was just like, it was one of those things that just like, it just hurt because it was like, yo, I just said I was gonna coach.
Right.
The guy who kept telling me to coach just like, it doesn't even make sense.
Yeah.
Like that does not happen. Like how is this happening? And then it even got weirder. So months pass, right? So my son is on a play date, so I got to pick up the kid for a play date. Mm-hmm. So he lives in the Calabasas area. So I pick him up, and then he was like, something happened. He mentioned Kobe, and then it was like, so we're going his back way, and I'm looking at the mountain. I'm like, yeah, that's the mountain. I'm looking like, how do they? And the kid was like, no, that's not the mountain. He's like, I have it spot checked on my phone. So I'm like, on your phone? He's like, yeah, it's on my phone. He's like, this is the area. So I was like, wait a minute, he's on that side? Why did I thought he was on this side the whole time? Because it's like Calabasas Mountain. So I'm thinking it's this mountain off the freeway, like they're following the freeway. So I'm thinking it's this. So he said, no, it's not. It's over there. You got to go past it. So I'm like, so I'm following this little map.
Right.
And I'm sitting here like, yo, this is some freaky stuff. So the mountain he hits, I own the property.
Oh, wow.
I once owned the property and I sold it. So basically I lived at the top of the hill. Uh-huh. Right? So my front door, my front door faces just all wilderness and then it goes up the mountain. So this like, right? So I guess they're flying over, hitting that mountain and then climbed over the top and fell into the other lady's yard. So now that's even that like just freaked me out. Wow. Like, yo, like I own like I know that mountain because where I live, when it's foggy, I can't see out my front door. Like when I walk outside, because we're already elevated, when I go outside, I can't see when it was days like that. Right. So like all these things are just going on and like, why is this just so like, I just, it's just one of those things like it just don't feel, none of this feels right. And that's when I just changed everything. That's when I changed, that brings it back to the Lupita thing. That's when I just changed cold turkey, just changed like, all that playing on the gram like that. It was just like, nah, there's something going on. And, it's bigger than me. There's something telling me that what I'm doing right is wrong. I need to go ahead and write this.
But still keep in the back of your mind of when you get to that point where you're really walking in your purpose, then that's when you're making a even bigger contribution to what you were made to do. And it's beyond what you might think that you're made to do. Yeah, you're talented and all this stuff, and you can do all this stuff like that, but it's different when something is your purpose. Yeah. So just keep that in the back of your mind. That's all. Just keep it in the back of your mind. But hey, man, this is. I think this might have been the longest interview that I done did.
That's how it is.
That's how it is.
The players, they get to talking. This is why certain players get attacked, because this is not the person they get to meet. This is the person they don't know when you're watching TV and interviews, because they're not talking to another player.
That's right. That's right.
The player, so they're not going to open up and reveal who they are as just people themselves. So
that's right.
Players, and I think that's what's so funny is since 2017, when a lot of players started to get into podcasting, TV viewership has went down.
Of course.
TV viewership has went down.
Because there's a difference. There's a difference in listening to the knuckleheads or All the Smoke or all the different people, and you're listening to how in depth they get with the. And so you finish their interviews, and you feel like you know the player a little bit differently.
I watched him for 18 years. And I watched 45 minutes of the knucklehead, and I know who this man is.
I know him, right. And that's my goal as well. So, hey, like I said, I definitely appreciate it. Keep doing your thing, though, and I'm going to be looking on the sidelines, because you're going to eventually write a book. Eventually. Maybe not yet. Eventually you're going to do the documentary, and eventually I think you'll be coaching. I think you'll be doing all those three things.
I hope.
Yeah,
when that time comes, I'm ready, to take on that, because looking at the game from this perspective is different from here. Of course. So it's really understanding the process of coaching. But Eddie Jordan was good. Even though I didn't like Stan Van Gundy, his X's and O's was good. So understanding the personalities versus someone who's controlling. Eddie Jordan's laid back, from Dave. Just understanding, different coaches, what's successful, how to get the best out of this player, how to get understanding, this is a team. I need to get the best out of each player. So I need to know each player. I know what each player takes. If I do this to this player and he shuts down, that hurts this.
That hurts this.
You know what I mean? So it's understanding how to get the best out of everyone.
Yeah, and you'll get there. You're gonna do it too. Hey man, well you be safe, man. Thanks again for coming on. Keep doing your thing. You know what I'm saying? We'll be talking.
All right. Thank you for having me.
All right, that's what's up.